Hello, everyone, and welcome to Essential Oils and Pets. We've got myself, Bianca Winslade, and Reece here. We're ready to help you out. So what we're going to do this morning is we're actually going to go through our ebook that we created for all of you. And then we've got some little DIYs from the ebook that we're going to share with you. So hopefully you enjoy the journey. If you've got any questions and you're watching the replay, just pop them in below. We'll share this to the Oily Hub so you'll be able to access it. And we'll try and comment and answer any of your questions that you might have. If you're present, just pop your hand up, or you can write in if we don't see you, or just unmute yourself and ask away. So I'm actually going to share my screen and share our beautiful ebook that we created for you. This was a bit of a joint effort. It's got some beautiful animals from a few people in our Oily Hub. So it's really nice putting together this ebook for everyone. And our beautiful dog Meg, there's on the front. So when you go into the Oily Hub, you can actually go to the guides section and you'll find this ebook on there. And it's called Essential Oils and Pets, and you can look up the ebook. Thanks, little person. Off you go. Okay, so we just go through what some cans and can'ts with pets with essential oils in the ebook, and how you can best use your oils with the ebook. Sorry. Off you go. Oh, after I finish. Okay, sorry. Okay, so there's some little bit of information there to explain, and then 5 things to be mindful of. Now, Lisa and I both do have different methods with essential oils, and we both work a little bit differently with our animals. So this also is a little bit different to how we sometimes work with it, but it's just a basic guide for you. So do what you feel comfortable with your essential oils, because it's really important that you understand and feel comfortable when you're around your pets and things. So we've got a DIY pet shampoo, which I created the other day in a live for you. DIY powder for pet shampoo. I'm actually creating that today for you. Wound care for cuts and scrapes and itchy skin, which Lisa shared with us the other day on the group. So if you're wondering where you can see all this, it's on our lives. We've put them into the group for you. And Lisa's actually going to go through cat support today. We felt that we hadn't really covered the cats as much as the dogs. We've done a fair bit on dogs. A lot of you have dogs, so that's why we kind of went in that direction. But we've got cat support today, a bit more on cat support and what you can do there. A lot of questions on cats last week, so thought that we'd brush up on that. And we've also got the bad breath biscuits that I'm going to create. Now, I don't know whether I'll create them today because I don't think I have peanut butter. I've just had a look and I think the kids have actually eaten it on me. So we'll see what we can do there. So it's always fun. But I said to my dog, who's actually on the front of this book last night, I said, gee, your breath sticks. You really need those cookies. And she loves eating everything. So I'll talk about those cookies a bit later. And then there's just some health and wellness support, emotional support and things that I've popped in the ebook there at the bottom. So we'll go through that in the way that how we use them a bit more with stress and anxiety and things like that as well. So there's a fair bit in our ebook. There's also things to avoid with cats and dogs. I work on a method of self monitoring with the animals, so they self-select. So sometimes I will expose animals to certain oils that maybe someone else won't expose animals to. So for me, I work a little bit different to a lot of other people with the guidelines, and I know Lisa does as well. But we've been working with our oils a very long time, and we're very confident with our oils. So if you're not as confident, these guidelines are really good to keep you safe and your animals safe with the oils. And then just some points to remember at the end. Okay, so I'm actually going to pass you over to Lisa. She's got a beautiful, I'll just stop sharing. She's got some recipes there. I wonder if I can put it in. Just trying to see if I can change this beaker view. There we go. Now you're nice and big, Lisa. So Lisa's a wealth of knowledge. She's been working with animals for a very long time, and she does a lot with dogs. So and cats as well. So Lisa's a wealth of knowledge. If you haven't seen Lisa's lives, go back into the group and have a look, because there's lots of information there that Lisa's shared with our group. We've been really lucky to have that information shared with you. So make sure you do, especially if you want to look at working with your animals with essential oils. This is a really good way to start, and a bit of fun too. Like, I really enjoy doing it. I know Lisa does as well. So thanks heaps for being here, Lisa, and working with me. I've really enjoyed it. So off you go.
Hi, everyone. Hi, thanks, Bianca. It's been really great doing this animal thing with everyone and getting to share my knowledge a bit, and hopefully get everyone using their oils a bit more with their animals, because they benefit just as much as we do from them. So today I figured we hadn't done much on the cat stuff, so I'm going to make up a couple of things for the cat support and talk a bit more about, using them with cats. So I'm going to make the recipes, but then I'm going to tell you how you can vary them for your own cat. Do you know what I mean? For personalization, if you like. So first we'll do the kitty litter one. Now this is, kitty litters stink. No one likes kitty litters. Mine is as far away in our house as it can get, right near the garage door, as far away. But still, we can make them smell a bit more pleasant. So it's really, really easy. Now you can just put this into any kind of little container to make it up. I just use a little shaker thing like I do for my carpets and everything. So, but even just a little jar, you can still sprinkle some out of it. So you get a little container. You just get some bicarb soda. Now we all know bicarb helps to take away bad smells and is amazing. So grab some bicarb soda and whack that in. I'm going to make a mess because you're all watching me. Okay, so you just whack that in there like so. Now, because they're cats, you don't need to use a lot of oil, and it is preferable not to use a lot of oil. Not to mention, with the cats going in the kitty litter, they do need a bit of their own scent to keep them coming back, or if you make it smell completely like lavender, they're not going to use it. So you only want a few drops at most. I only actually use 1 or 2. So I go for 1, but sometimes the second one comes out. So you don't need much. They've got a really strong sense of smell, so, tiny bit. Now I just shake that up, sort of mix it up in there so the lavender gets through like this. Put your fingers over the holes. I've learned that the hard way. So just do that. Now, what you do is when you clean out your kitty litter tray and everything's out, you've given it a wash. I use the On Guard concentrate cleaner, dilute it up obviously to give that a good wash out because it kills bugs and germs and all stuff like that. When it's dried, I sprinkle some of this straight into the bottom of the litter tray, and then I just put the kitty litter on top. So you don't want it on top of the kitty litter because that's, they dig through it, they scrape through it all the time. And you only need a little bit. You don't use this whole thing every time. You just a light sprinkling on the floor. A light sprinkling is all that you need in the bottom. So that's why if you just have it in a little sealed container even, you can just, sprinkle a bit over every time you clean it out. This is also great, if you put some on their bedding, if their bedding is getting a bit stinky or anything like that, you can sprinkle that on there, leave a bit, vacuum it, or just go outside and beat the crap out of it to get it all, all the extra off. I use it on the dog's beds, the cat's bed. I use it everywhere. I use it on my bed. When you change your mattress at night, when you change your mattress, I put this on my mattress, vacuum it off before I put the sheets back on, and it's absolutely beautiful. I actually prefer lavender peace for my bed. Yum. So that's really simple. It's a great deodorizer for any pet area or any area that you need to freshen up or anything like that. Now I'll move on to this before I talk about the changing it up, because it's going to be, they sort of work with each other. So the other thing that's in there is our cat scratching deterrent spray. I don't know, if you haven't got cats, you don't know. If you do have cats, you'll know that any bit of furniture they can get to, anything they can scratch, they will. I have holes in my leather lounge. I have holes in my other lounge. I have holes, the backs of my dining chairs have been torn to shreds. This was before I discovered oils. So, they tore my house to shreds. But this actually does work really well. I put it on one, just sounds weird. To test it out, I put it on one corner of my lounge. So, like one leg bit where they scratch. Now, if I took you in, it's a bit of a pain. If I took you in, I have 2 legs that have been torn, and the one that I sprayed has not been touched at all. And so I was like, yeah, I think this might work, so I'll share it around. So all I do now, the recipe does call for, I think it's like a cup, so 250 mils. I don't actually have one of those spray bottles here at the moment because I made something else in it. So I actually always keep my Virage toner bottles, They are great for any spray that you want to make it up. So I make like my flea spray up in it sometimes, or, you know, any kind of spray that you need to make up. It's awesome. Even knit spray for my kids, I make up in it and spray their hair each morning before they go to school. Even insect spray for, you know, the dogs or us if there's flies and stuff around. So, all right, so all you need to do is get your bottle. Now, the recipe calls for eucalyptus and lemon. Now, the reason it's calling for these is because generally cats don't like these, generally. Not all cats are the same. They're like us. They're, you know, you might like something that I don't like. They're like that as well. So that's what we're going to talk about after this. But for this recipe, and this does work for my cat, these are the two we're going to use. So the recipe, I did check. The recipe called for 10 drops of each. Bianca, is it? Do you have it there?
Yeah, I've got it here. So 10 drops. So 10 drops of eucalyptus, 10 drops of lemon, and 1 cup of water.
Right, yeah. Well, because I'm only using this little bottle, I'm just going to put 5 drops in of each because, you know, you don't need so much in with not so much water. So 5 drops of the eucalyptus. And then, I love this combination anyway. This is actually one of my favourite combinations to diffuse in my kitchen, and it keeps the cat out of the kitchen. So works really well. She likes to walk on my benches and that grosses me out big time. So, all right, so you put those in there. There's not much in there. And all you do is top it up with water. How simple is that? Not so simple when it's a little hole in a big kettle, but we'll give it a go. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it went everywhere. Shh, you didn't see it. Okay, so you just fill that up. Whack on the spray lid. Now, like I said, any little spray bottle will do, really. So give it a shake. And now before you use it each time, shake it really well. Now you only want to lightly mist, like it's on your lounge and stuff. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to saturate your lounge with it. So you just sort of lightly mist it over after you've given it a good shake. And it leaves enough of a scent for your cat to not want to go there. I do recommend maybe test, like, you know, spot test somewhere inconspicuous before you go spraying your whole lounge, just in case it does something to your lounge. But I've sprayed it on mine. I've got like a dark grey material lounge and a leather lounge, and it hasn't hurt my lounge. So it's okay. So, yeah, that's as simple as that. Spray it wherever you want, your dining chairs, wherever you don't want them scratching. That's really simple. Excuse me 1 second. Are you right?
Yeah.
Can you just hang on 2 seconds? Go down carefully. Can you go down carefully?
Yeah.
All right, good. Slowly, carefully. You right? Sorry, children. Okay. All right. Now, what I wanted to talk about with these, can you get it? Go. Right. The thing I wanted to talk about with these is, now I don't know if you saw my other live, and Bianca's talked about it as well, but there's the self-selection. So, you know, a lot of times when we're dealing with animals, the things that we think are going to be good for them, they don't like. So, like last night, for instance, my cat wouldn't let me near her to check with the oil, so I just chose 2. She's got a bit of a respiratory weird go at the moment, so I just chose 2 that I knew would be good for her, and I put them on in my boys' room because that's where she sleeps every single night. Now, apparently, she doesn't like those oils because last night, for the first time in I don't know how long, she did not sleep in my boys' room. She stayed clear of my boys' room. So that's a clear indication that she didn't like one of those oils that I put in there. So with these ones, when you're making up your kitty litter deodorizer, you want to check that your cat likes lavender, because you don't want to put an oil in there that your cat hates, because then they're not going to, you know, once they get to the kitty litter and they can smell that oil, they're going to run a mile. So you want to do a bit of self-selection. If there's a different oil your cat loves, say, for instance, it's Roman chamomile or Balance or, you know, whatever, just grab a few that you know are going to scent it nicely. Let your cat smell the closed bottle And if they have a positive reaction, if they look like, you know, they don't mind it, use that oil. If they turn their head, if they walk away, you know, if they have a clear reaction that they don't like it, please don't use it in the kitty litter, because, you know, they're not going to go to the kitty litter. Now, the same thing goes for the repellent. Like I was saying, these two oils, the eucalyptus and the lemon, they work really well for my cat because I know she doesn't like those. I've tested them with her. She doesn't like them. But your cat might be strange. Your cat might love those oils. So then if you're putting them there to deter scratching, it's not going to deter them because they still love those oils and they'll want to be near to those oils. So grab a few ones that, you know, you don't, you know, think they might like. Citrus are good because cats generally don't like citrus, and citrus aren't usually harmful diffused. So when you see about citrus being harmful to cats, you don't want to use it topically on their skin, and you don't want them ingesting it, but you can diffuse them. Not, you know, most of the time your cat's fine. Obviously watch for signs, but diffusing citrus is fine. So using it in your deterrent spray is great because they generally don't like them, but it's not going to harm them to just smell it a bit. Yeah. All right. So that's why self-selection actually is really, really important, because there are some things like with the wound care, you know that there's they've got properties that are going to help them. So use them, that's fine. But when it's something to do with the scent and what you want them, you know, where they're going to be smelling it all the time and stuff like that, you really want them to like the oil or it's not going to help. Bianca, can I chuck back to you for a minute because I'm just being called and then I'll come back in a little bit. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. That's fine. All right. That's all right. I'm just trying to change the view. Not sure why. Go back to the gallery and we'll see if I can, now that I'm speaking, hopefully it'll, nope. Doesn't want to go to me. Let's see what we can do. We'll go to the gallery and we'll see how we go. Okay, so really, really good advice from Lisa. Normally, if your animal doesn't like an oil, it means the animal doesn't need the oil at the time. Okay, so if you think your animal likes an oil or doesn't like an oil, it will change. So keep letting the animal self-select over the time. So it may be the next week that the animal needs a different oil. So it's a little bit tricky to explain. Something that I do let the animals do naturally. But as I said, so normally if they like an oil, that means they need that oil. If they don't like an oil, they don't need that oil. And as like Lisa said, just keep an eye on that. And especially with the kitty litter, because you don't want to poo and wean everywhere else. But it might be that animal needs calming and it's quite an anxious animal. So Roman chamomile, lavender, all those calming oils, vetiver, frankincense, they might be ones that they can actually work with while they're going to the toilet. So it's quite good that way as well. Now I can't get it on to speaker view for some reason, Lisa, but did you want me to do, you finish off and then I'll do the biscuits and then we'll come back after that.
Yep, yeah, I was just going to say about the applying, when you're applying the oils to the animal, because there was something I mentioned in a live about massaging them and stuff like that, and it wasn't till I got off that I realised that maybe not everyone has short-haired animals, dogs, like I do. And of course, when you're using oils topically, that means they're being absorbed into the skin, not the fur. So if you've got a long-haired animal, just rubbing your hands on the fur isn't giving them the most benefits. Like some will still get through, but the majority is just going to be like turn them into a personal diffuser. Do you know what I mean? Like they'll still be able to smell it and stuff, but it's not actually going to get to the skin. So when you're applying it topically, you need to make sure that you get through to the skin. So if you've got a longer haired animal, what I like to do is to put it on my hands and then rub, rub from the tail, like say their tail's down here and their head's up here. So you just rub your fingers up through the fur so that you're trying to wriggle your fingers down into the skin as you go through. So it's like you're giving them a massage as well, but you're sort of trying to get your fingers in through the fur, up their spine, do you know what I mean? Like wherever you need to apply it. So the more you can get it on, like when you put it on your hands, make sure it gets in between your fingers, all around your fingers, so that as they do their massage up the dog's back. Or, you know, you probably go the other way, but it's sort of the way your hands and that go sort of work better that way, but it sort of massages it into the actual skin more, which is what topical application is. It's absorbing it through the skin. So I just wanted to mention that because I had said about, like, I've got short-haired dogs, really, like Ridgebacks have got tiny short hairs. So when you rub them completely like that, it gets through those hairs quickly onto the skin. But if, like I said, you've got long hair, even a cat has, you know, my cat has longer hair, you sort of need to work it in more so it actually gets to the skin. So, yeah, with the flea and tick spray, that can just spray on because it is more of a diffusion thing, keeping everything away. But when you're actually wanting to help their skin and get it in there, massage it through the hairs, So, yeah, that was pretty much the other thing I think that I wanted to add. Let me just check. Yep, that's what I had on my list for my little thing. But if you've got, like Bianca said, if you've got any questions, especially dog related, I do cats, I do goats as well. Bianca's your one for horses and dogs as well and other things. But yeah, just pop them in, let us know, and I'll be happy to answer them whenever you like. Go for it, Bianca.
Thanks, Lisa. Also, I was going to ask with the cat deterrent, if we put a bit of witch hazel into that mixture, would that help if we're having trouble with it running? The witch hazel might help.
Okay. I mean, the cheaper way obviously is just water, but if you make it like half water, half witch hazel, it's gonna, like, that's what I use for my curtains and stuff like that with my actual, you know, deodorizer thing. So it does dry quicker if you've got that witch hazel in it. So yeah,
Cool.
definitely put that in.
Yeah, great. And the other thing I just thought of was when you're doing your deterrent, everyone, make sure you use oils that aren't like blue or like On Guard and stuff like that, because the other oils will be fine. Yeah.
Wild orange and that. Don't use those.
No, just make sure it's one of the clear oils, and those ones you mentioned, totally fine. But yeah, when you're doing self-selection, just be mindful that if you do pick one that's a bit darker, well,
like they hate blue tansy, so you spray it all over your lounge.
Yeah, probably not the best idea. But yeah, so I'm hoping that it'll go to speaker view. Whether it will jump to me, I'm not sure. If it doesn't, I'll pop us back in gallery view and see if I can get it. Maybe if you mute for a minute, at least. Oh yeah, you have. I wonder if it'll pop back. Not sure. Doesn't want me to be big. Let's see. That's all right. I've got a big enough personality. We'll just see how we go and go from there. Rightio, so I've never made dog biscuits before. I'm not someone that's made treats for their dog before. Kind of just feed the dogs normal things and yeah, but I don't know. I think it's a bit of fun sometimes to be able to give them something. I remember the smackos we used to give to our border collie when we had a border collie and he'd eat the smackos. Had a friend that used to give the dogs like 5 smackos each every time she visited, and that was quite interesting, but she loved it. She thought it was wonderful. She was always giving dog treats, hence that her animals were quite a large size but very large. So we're going to look at the bad breath biscuits, and I'm actually going to talk you through it and then give you a couple of options with it. So all you need is stuff out of your cupboard. Like we're pretty much baking for the dogs, which is cool. I'm not sure if all dogs will eat them, but I'm guessing they will. Like, I don't know, our one of our Kelpies, Jazz, that I work with, she's pretty fussy. She may not. Meg would definitely eat these. She'd eat anything. But in saying that, when I work with her with herbs, she only selects what she needs. So if you've got dogs like that and you're thinking, or cats even, they'll just do everything. No, it's not like that. Like when we're using our oils and when we're using our herbs, even my horse, he was eating comfrey leaves really, really fast, and then he just stopped. And that's what the animals will do. Like you'll see them actually physically stop, and it's really, really amazing to see. It's a lot easier to see with herbs than with oils, because the oils are obviously dispersing in the air. But also don't be afraid to just let them smell it. You don't always have to get them, like they don't have to be ingesting for them to get the benefits, okay? So when research I've done, actually smelling is actually the best way a lot of the time for the animals because their sensory is all set up for smell. Okay, so we need 2 cups of flour.
Mom.
Yes. Oh, you don't have any milk here. Half a cup of oats. So I just got black and gold oats that we use for cereal. I don't think there's any milk here, sweetie. Off you go. Half a cup of oats. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You could leave the salt out if you want, up to you. I'm a big one not for salt, but okay. Off you go, please.
But
Go on.
my both milks around the day.
Okay, off you go. Sorry, we're between houses and it's a bit. Okay, now I actually freeze all my bananas for smoothies. So I take the skin off and I pop them in the freezer. So they actually look a bit funny, but that's what I do. So we need 2 bananas. So I'm just popping them in frozen. Whoop.
Is this our day?
Yeah, it's out of date. Can't have it. Off you go, please. Okay, so I would just break them up if you are freezing them. If you're not getting them frozen, just have them mushed up. That'll be fine. 3 eggs. I've actually got duck eggs. I'm hoping they're all right. I didn't check them for see how old they are. Normally I do. I've got that many eggs at the moment. So duck eggs are beautiful. If you're making sponges and things, you can get hold of duck eggs. They are amazing. And we used to feed our dogs an egg every now and then. We were always told it was really good for their coat and things. I don't know, Lisa, whether that's something you use in the show world and things, the eggs. But I know for us it was always something that my grandpa or Nana told us. Now, peanut butter. I don't actually eat peanut butter myself, but the kids don't mind the peanut butter. So 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. And 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Now I'm just using my regular coconut oil that I cook with. I use this for heaps of recipe ideas and things, and I love it. It's just a bit hard to get out of the jar when you've got a big jar. So we need 2 tablespoons of the coconut oil. Now, if you can't get yours out of the jar like me, might be worth zapping it in the microwave for a little bit before you do it. But my microwave's decided it's not working anymore, so it's not heating anymore, so we won't be doing that today. I'll just keep persisting. So you need 2 tablespoons. Now the coconut oil is an interesting one because I actually use coconut oil with animals. I offer it to them, and normally if an animal goes for the coconut oil, it means that they either need to purge or they're in pain. So normally you should only give them about 50 grams of coconut oil at a time for an average dog. And then you need to move into your essential oils. You may essential oil pain oils to use with them. So it's in this situation, it's obviously being used as a binder, but when you're using them with your herbs and your oils, coconut oils often a trigger, an idea to let you know that your animal needs to purge or that it's in pain. So that's a good one just to check. Kylie, have you got a question?
I do. So with the coconut oil, are you saying, so is the coconut oil just to check if they're in pain, or will it help their pain?
Yeah, it'll help. But what you don't want to do is give them too much, and you always keep it separate from their food. So have it on, and you can just have it on a lid or a saucer and offer it. They'll come over, they might just smell in it, they might roll in it. If it's a cat, sometimes they'll roll in it. They might lick it up and ingest it. Depending on what they need, they may just leave it. If they don't need it, they'll just leave it alone. Okay. So if you have got an animal in pain and they do tend to eat the coconut oil, that's telling you, yes, I'm in pain, I need support. Yeah. So then you can reach for your things like carbaiba, frankincense, any of those pain oils that you know of. So have a look in your book what we use the pain oils for, or an app or whatever you're using, and then offer them that just in the bottle and let them smell it. And if they want it on their body or they want to ingest it, they'll actually either try and lick the bottle or they'll start brushing up against you where they want the oil to be placed on them. So you put them on your hand and then just let them rub onto you. and that was be where they want it. So I've had horses and things show me their stomachs, and they might have been uncomfortable, and now the ginger oil, they'll come and want me to put that on them or whatever it is at the time.
Great, thank you.
Helps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say that because Gala is obviously, she's still in a lot of pain and she's on meloxicam daily.
Yeah.
But yes, you know, sometimes you can actually tell when that's wearing off.
Yes.
So, yeah, so that's good for me to know. Yeah.
For me, with my hay fever relief with essential oils,
yeah,
I worked out that every 3.5 to 4 hours was when I would stop getting support and I had to reuse my oils. So it might be the same, and you can tell with the Floxcam that when she's wearing off, it might be the same that you can do that with your oils. So you'll be able to work out with her where she's actually with it. So, but if you have some time to do a session with her, I could probably do one with you. We can have a go. For that.
Great.
So this looks like, I don't know, gingerbread men kind of food when you make gingerbread. And so what we need to do now is just pop some peppermint oil in there, and it said cinnamon as well, but they're both hot oils. So it's saying to fix the bad breath, but I'm actually inclined to use lemon because for me, lemon's really good for detoxing and really good for respiratory and things like that. So that'd be something that I would use with my dogs. Peppermint oil is really good for respiratory as well. And it's really good if you've got a dog like that struggles with nasal, you know, the breathing, the heavy breathing. Peppermint oil or lemon oil, really good for that as well. So even though we're looking at nice smelling breath, they're actually ones that would be good too. And well, what I would actually do if this was me, the way that I like to use it is I'd actually see what the animal wants to ingest at the moment. And if it wanted to ingest something, I would make the biscuits related to that. Okay, I'd make them specifically. I'd actually freeze this dough and I'd put it in separate bits, and then I would just add the oil to whatever dough at the time that my animal needs. So that's the way I do it, because I'm looking at it for a health benefit. But if you're just looking at it for nice breath, then people, like it says, peppermint and cinnamon. So and I'm pretty sure that's a Dr. Rourke one, Lisa. I'm pretty sure that's where I got it from. But yeah, so that's the way I would do it. So I've just got peppermint here, and always check your labels on your bottles that it actually says, off you go, mate. Not long. Off you go. Off you go, please. Off you go, please. Off you go. Sorry. So it should say that it's able to be ingested. So it'll say, whoa, that one actually does ingredients. Okay, so the lavender actually says ingredients. The peppermint doesn't say ingredients, this one, but it should. I'm not sure why. It says it's CPTG.
It have flavouring on it, and when it got put PGA, they took it off it.
Okay, yeah, I knew there was a bit of an issue. Yeah. But I definitely ingest peppermint every day, especially with my oils. Sorry, Lisa.
Yeah. It's the same oil, it's just what they put on the bottle. So
that's right. Yeah. So, but always check that anyway when you're doing it. So what you'll do is pop your oils in there. I'm actually, it's very cold because I use the frozen bananas. Okay. Pop it in there, and then it says bake at 180 for 20 minutes. Now, if you have got a mold or something like that, my suggestion would be to do a bit of a one where they can actually chew it a bit, or something like that. If you've got little dogs, you know, you could do little, if you really want, you could do it as a little treat. So if you're training, use it as a little treat for the dog. But yeah, I don't know whether that would taste, I think it would taste a little bit peanut buttery. Odie, we could eat that. There's no question there. You might want it as your own. It's like nearly an Anzac biscuit, really. But, you know, the eggs in there, all of those things are definitely things we could eat. So it might work out that it's an all right one for us. Okay, sorry, to clean my hands. So So yeah, so I'm actually going to I'll put a couple of drops of lemon in there. It says 1 drop of cinnamon, 3 to 6 of peppermint. Peppermint's really, really strong. I actually wouldn't put 3 to 6 drops of peppermint in there. When I make my peppermint slice, I put 1 to 3 in there. And if I put 3 in there, like that's for my husband because he loves peppermint. So if I was starting with a dog, definitely only 1 drop. I wouldn't go any more than that, okay? So I'm just going to do 1 drop of lemon in there. And that's for the whole mixture. That's why these oils are so good though, because they're super cheap for, like, you get your whole mixture and you only need 1 drop, which is pretty cool. Right, so I'm going to move on. Your dog would probably enjoy those, Kylie. You could put some kabaga in there and some
I was just
frankincense.
thinking that.
Yeah, I'd definitely use frankincense in there, and I'd use a kabaga drop. Yeah, just 1 of each.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be really good at this time. Okay, so I'm going to make a dry shampoo. So I made a wet shampoo the other day, and that's really good. I actually cleaned a sheep with it. Had a lamb that was a bit sick and she was all dirty. And it was awesome. She was so beautiful and clean afterwards. She's actually recovering. So I cleaned her a couple of weeks ago, but now she's recovering. She's walking on all her feet. She had really bad cuts and things from shearing, and she wasn't in a very good way. And yeah, she was getting attacked by crows, and it wasn't very nice. Anyway, I gave her a wash, cleaned her all up, used oils with her, used oils on her spine as well as her injury, and used clay as well on her wounds. So clay's really good for wounds and skin. I think I mentioned that in a live. But I would actually, when you're doing a dry shampoo, if you've got a dog with allergies, there was someone mentioned the other day their dog was red raw from grass and things, I'd actually make up just some clay. You could put your frankincense and lavender in there if you want with the clay as a dry shampoo, and you could put it on your dog that way. Let it sit on the skin, and if the animal needs it, it will actually absorb the clay into the skin, and you'll see as you're watching the animal, you'll actually see in 20 minutes it will all settle down, or it might be that you need to reapply more. Okay, so if it all soaks in, apply more just onto the skin with the clay. So all we need is a 1/4 cup of arrowroot powder, which I've just popped in here. These jars, if you drink coffee or someone you know drinks coffee, really, really good. I make all my cleaning paste and everything, put them in there. So if you've got anything like that, really cool. You need 2 drops of lavender, geranium, and eucalyptus. And it just says in the glass jar, shake well and brush or pat powder on the animal and leave the animal. So just 2 drops of your lavender. Just need my geranium, sorry. These are really good little cases I use with the animals all the time. So you're able to just have it for the animals. I've got 3 of these that I take out in the paddock and do things with. I'm actually going to use patchouli, which is a slow oil. It's quite a thick oil to get out, so we'll just wait for that. Really thick. And I'm going to use Roman chamomile, okay, because it's a calming one. So for me, I could use this dry powder, this dry shampoo in a thunderstorm if I wanted to, or anything like that. So it's another way of getting it onto your pets. So you might want to have a makeup brush and just brush it on, depending on the fur, do that method Lisa was talking about before. You could do that with this. Yep, you've got a shaker there, Lisa. Perfect. Yep, anything like that is really, really good. That smells amazing. Yep. You could use it on your hair. Yeah. People can use the dry root dry shampoo as well. So really, really easy one. So just give it a shake, and that will actually last. If you put it in a container like this, it'll last ages. You won't need to replace it. Just use it when you want. Maybe your pet's inside and it likes rolling in horse poo or something all the time. That might be an easy way to fix it without having to do it, but really good in winter. So when you can't be washing your pets and you need to. And the big thing is we strip the oils in our pets way too much. So if you do a dry shampoo, you're not going to strip your natural oils of your animal as much. So I actually I don't remember when I last washed my dogs because we just don't need to. But when I had a border collie inside all the time, we did wash him more often because he'd lose his hair and go everywhere. And if we could keep it monitored, it was really good. So a couple of things I wanted to quickly mention. I know we're short of time. But just wanted to say thank you. We've had a lot of interaction with people over the last month, and I've really enjoyed it. And so has Lisa when we've had our conversations about it all. It's been really positive and really nice to be able to share our knowledge with all of you. Sometimes I feel like, do we have enough knowledge and things like that? And when we do speak to other people, I realize that, yes, actually, people are really wanting this knowledge and it's really important. And sometimes I feel like, oh, how will people take that knowledge and do things? But when I worked with Jazz, my dog, I feel like people are really wanting more information. So Lisa's got a couple of resource books there she's going to share. I use my human book, Essential Life book. I use that all the time. It's very relative to the animals as well. I've also got other books that I have shared in our group. I actually don't have them here. I forgot to bring them over in the car. But they were ready to go. I didn't get here. So use this ebook, because this ebook has, we've got that section where it talks about emotions and health and things with animals. There's also this section, on all these shampoos, the cuts and the wounds things, the skin things, like all those simple things. If you make up a little kit and say you had a container like this and just had your little bottles already set up, and then, you can just go to that first aid kit, it's an animal kit, and you can support your animals that way. Even if you had only 10 oils, like I've got 3 of these, and when I go and work with my animals, I have all 3 here. I try and order them to specific needs. So if I've got my pain oils together, I've got my emotional oils and things like that all together. But you don't have to do that. It's not, just do these basic things from the ebook and you'll be winning. Like, your animals will be supported so much more than what they were before. So it's just really important to just be mindful of your animals, but also the animals are really, really clever. Like, they're so clever. I've had a Kelpie picking up oils out of a big box of 50 oils, and he was specifically picking what he needed at that time. And he picked them, and I grabbed them off him, undid them, laid them down, and he laid down on the floor to smell those oils for like 20 minutes, one oil. So they know what they need, and we just need to listen to them. So this way, as Lisa said, keep allowing them to self-select if you're doing the kitty litter or if you're doing specific things, because they know what they need on them. And don't think that you have to put it on their skin if they only want to smell it, because they're telling you, no, I only need to smell it. Or if they're rubbing up against you, they're telling you, I need it on my skin. And if they're licking it, well, they need it on they need to ingest it. And their lick that they took is enough. Don't try and give them more. So they can judge. The only thing I will say is, like Kylie, your dog is obviously on medication. That's where you need to be careful, because sometimes self-selection might get mixed in there. So just make sure that you're aware of that. Smelling really won't be an issue, but if you're looking at ingesting things, there might be, that's where you kind of need to be aware that, well, they're already on a medication that may make them really hungry, or that they might appear that they're looking at oils as food, not as medicine. So we need to make sure that we are aware of that.
Yeah.
Lisa, would you like to share your books?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Okay, there's a few books that I use all the time, because you can't just store all this knowledge in your head all the time. So the first one that I would highly recommend, you probably can't see the word.
I'll see if I can put it on speaker. There we go. You can go on speaker, I can't.
I'm special. This is Dr. Janet Rourke's Essential Oils for Pets guidebook. Now, I don't know if you've heard of her, a lot of people have, but she's a vet in the US and she's a big doTERRA advocate. She's been using oils in her practice for 10 years or more, and she knows her stuff. So this is her book. It's just a general guide that, just for cats and dogs, some big animals as well, because a lot of the time the big animals you can use pretty much anything on. They haven't got as many oils to worry about so much. So it's got all things: bleeding, burn support, dental health, diabetes, digestive issues. It's got diffuser blends. It's got recipes, hot spots, insect bites. There's so much knowledge in here that it's really, really handy just to have on hand. Another one that I haven't had for too long, but it really is amazing. Maybe a little bit more advanced, but it's still got all the knowledge you need. This one is Essential Oils for Animals, and it's from Niana Morag. So I just got this one from Booktopia or somewhere like that. And yeah, that's got, again, it's got recipes. It actually goes through the individual oils like it does in our Modern Essentials, and tells you about, you know, what each oil can do for your animal. So that is another good resource. Like Bianca said, use your human ones. The Modern Essentials is the one I go to all the time, because the oils have the same properties whether you're using them for a human or for an animal. So as long as you keep in mind the safe oils and things like that, you can still use the same protocols as long as you're diluting properly and things like that. So always you can go for those. Same as the emotions. Use your emotions books. The oils have those same properties again. So you can still, be a huge benefit to your dog, cat, if they have anxiety or separation anxiety, or they get worried in thunderstorms, or, if they've had a scare or anything. Oils work great for that. There is a great odor memory that we have, where our brain stores the memory of the odors. It remembers whether it was a good memory or a bad memory, and it's just the same for dogs, and cats and other animals. So if you can associate an oil with a good, happy thing, then they're going to associate that smell with good, happy things in the future. It's just a memory we have. Also, that thing with self-selection, and like Bianca was saying about trying it over, keep on trying it. Don't just, you let your dog sniff lavender once and he loves it, that doesn't mean he's going to love it again next month. There's a few reasons for that, like Bianca said, like whether they need it or not can play a factor. But also something really interesting I've just not long found out is that the nerve receptors in their nose actually regenerate every 30 days. So every 30 days, they get new nerves, new blah, blah, new things in their nose. So then things might smell different that month. So you need, they might not like that one that month, but then once everything regenerates, the next month they might like it, or vice versa. So don't just do the self-selection once. Every time you want to use the oils, ask them every time. Because like Bianca said, it can change, their needs can change, their nose can change, their mood can change. So, it's good to just always be chopping, changing, smelling them up and letting them choose for themselves. So, yeah, get the resources. This Janet Rourke's book, highly recommended. There is also a Spoil Your Pet, which also has some great recommendations in it. That's another great resource, but they're great to have on hand, make you feel a bit more confident about using the oils with your animals. So yeah, get using them. They benefit them so much. It's just amazing. They're just everyday things. They don't have to have something huge wrong with them, but, just support their mental state, make things around the home more pleasant. Get the toxic chemicals out of your home, because they affect them way more than us, because they know, because their sense of smell is so strong, the air fresheners you use and things like that affect them so much more. So the more of those you can cut out of your house, the better it is for them, and then replace it with the oils, and they'll not only have the no toxic chemicals in the home, but they'll also get the benefits from the oils. So yeah, use your oils on the dogs, on the cats, birds, ducks, horses, sheep, goats. They can all benefit from them. Just use them. Don't be scared. Ask questions. Yeah, that's me. That's all I have to say. Just use them.
Thanks heaps, Lisa. Now, there was a question the other day I think I answered, was about diffusing. All we have to do is make sure the animal can leave the room. So only thing, if you've got guinea pigs in a cage or birds in a cage, then maybe pop them where they can have fresh air.
Actually, about that, if you've got birds, like small birds, like, you got a parrot in your cage or a budgie or something, their respiratory system is different. It's way different to like your cats, your dogs, and all of those. So you need to keep the diffusion way down. Like 1-2 drops. You don't want to be sent. They can't escape because they're usually in a cage. So don't diffuse huge amounts near a bird. They have really sensitive respiratory systems. So like literally 1 or 2 drops. If you're diffusing for your bird, you're better off using a really light feather mist, rather than or even 1 drop on their perch, rather than having the diffuser sitting next to them, you know, blaring it out like that. So just be mindful with small birds. I'm not so sure about chickens and that because I'm not big on them, but I know for small birds, you just need to take that little bit more care. So, yeah. All right, bye.
And also, if you're working with chickens and things with internal use, normally they would recommend water, the drop-in water. Okay, so just so people know. Well, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for listening to us all well, month and a half. I hope you've got a lot out of it. We certainly have enjoyed working together and helping you guys out. And keep your questions coming. We're always in the Oily Hub checking on things. So if you've got animal questions throughout the time, anytime, Lisa and I are both quite happy to help out. And if we don't have the answers, normally we know someone that will have the answers or where to go for the answers. Janet Rourke, Lisa's actually doing a course with her at the moment. So if you're really interested to find out more, that might be something that you're interested in. I've also done a self-selection course with Carolyn Ingram, and she's doing online courses now. And I'm going to be doing an online course, hopefully December, January. It'll be just very basic. But those other two courses are, you know, really good people in the industry that use their essential oils with things all the time, and they're elite people in the industry. So there is negative people with oils about human use and also about animal use all the time. Please don't let that scare you off, because as Lisa said, there's so many positives. Sorry, I'm opening mango here. There's so many positive impacts that the oils can have for animals. So just be clever about it and ask questions before you use them. Even consult your vet if you're unsure as well. Vets are very open to things like this as well. So yeah, and I'll post up our cookies once I cook them and let you know what oils I've popped in there, because I'm sure our Kelpies will love those. And I might even see if the cat wants one and see what he does. So yeah, but thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I know Lisa does as well. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
No worries.